Welcome, everyone, to my third episode of my podcast. My guest today with me is Helaman, or Helaman is how you may also pronounce it. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Well, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into real estate.
Yeah, perfect. My brother and I, we went in, my brother was doing like rentals and stuff with his own properties. Um, and then I've always wanted to work with him in some way. Um, and it just lined up that he was just done with his job, his W-2. And so we're like, all right, let's do this. And we actually started with doing two flips in Utah because he still lives there. Um, and in the process, we gone on to Jamil Damji's Astro,
Mhm.
his mentorship, and learn how to wholesale as well, which is awesome. I mean, I think the number one thing I learned from him is just how to comp a property, which is amazing. Um, but we did that, and again, we did kind of get that shiny object syndrome where we were doing the wholesaling, and then we're like, let's just do a couple properties ourselves,
Mhm.
right? So we bought two houses, and one of them we did try to wholesale, and the wholesale fell through, and then we did it again and tried to do another wholesale. And anyways, we just ended up keeping it. Um, and but that we were totally unaware of how like the market was just going to tank
Mhm.
because of the interest rates. So we picked it up like in I think it was June of last,
So
or
when did you start? When did you start with your brother? This must have been recently.
yeah, so we started April of 22.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then in fact April of 22 is when we joined, yeah, the Astro. And then we did he had already started one before, and that was just like he just picked it up out of from um the market, and he made like 7 grand on the flip. And so he was very motivated with doing flips and stuff. And so we yeah, we definitely, we got two properties and we started doing the flip. And little do we know how much time and effort it takes, especially if you're doing like a full remodel. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
We were so like, I mean, it's crazy. Like we had an awesome general or a contractor that
Mhm.
did to, obviously did all the work. But every time we would go, he'd be like, "Oh, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And what about this?" And we're just like, "Ah,
We just thought it was going to be a paint job.
oh my gosh!" It was so much, and so many details too. Like I totally was unaware of how detailed it is when you do like a full-on remodel.
Mhm.
Um, but anyways, and so we did end up selling. We did end up selling them. We had huge losses though on both of those, just because.
But you learned.
Yeah, the market just tanked on us. But um yeah, I mean, the lessons we learned were very expensive, we can say that. So but that's kind of how I got into it. At the same time, I also did, in April, the same time, I joined the Gator method with Pace Morby,
Mhm.
and learned all of that, which like it was just a no-brainer for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like I totally need to do this, and just stay with it. Um, and so in the process, yeah, I think I've done so far like 7 deals, Gator deals or so. I think I've underwritten like 30
That's
or
fantastic.
so. But yeah, just, and you get, with each deal, like you get stricter on. I mean, I can already tell, like, if somebody really doesn't have an end buyer, and that they're like pretty new, I'm just like, I don't know, I just don't risk it. I'm just like, no, pass.
Yeah. It's like a muscle. The more you
Yeah.
use it, the stronger it gets. you become better at it.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
since you mentioned that, let me ask you a question. If someone was to come to you who is new, who's never done a deal before, and you as an underwriter, what are some tips that you would give for someone just starting out?
Well, so the biggest thing really is the comping. Like I don't know how many deals, because wholesalers, particularly if you're people that are looking for earnest money, there's two types of people that want their earnest money, either a new wholesaler
Mhm,
or a wholesaler that's doing a lot of business and they don't have enough money, so they need that, right? The latter one, obviously the one that's more experienced, is the preferred,
mhm,
but you have to make good relationships with people to get to people like that. The first one is usually where you get more people coming to you,
mhm,
and with new wholesalers, they just don't know how to comp, right? So they lock up a deal, it's way too high.
mhm,
And so if you yourself know how to comp, which I use the Preview software,
mhm.
um, within in a matter of a few seconds, I could tell if this is a good deal or not.
Yeah,
And so that would be my first like tip, is just learn how to comp. Like if you learn how to comp really well, you will avoid tons and tons of headaches and not have your money out, because it's too high.
right. I think that's a really good tip because when I first started out, I just thought comping was for wholesalers. And I thought, I don't need to learn this skill. I'm not interested in wholesaling.
Yeah.
I'll be fine without it. And I realized very quickly that it's such a necessary skill to know. Does not matter what part of real estate you are in, whether you're lending, whether you're wholesaling, whether you're dispoing, acquiring, connecting.
Yeah.
It's such a vital skill. It's so crucial to understanding the basis of a good deal and and how to find it, right? How to locate it. So good tip. Good tip.
Yeah.
So are you
Yeah. No, for
focusing
sure.
now completely on lending and Gator deals?
So yeah, my primary focus right now is so obviously they have, like, I've ordered the landing page,
Mhm. This is
um
for Alpha Gator.
yeah, for Alpha Gator, and I think that will be cool once we have that. Again, I think the biggest, well, I don't know what the not a myth, but the biggest thing that people need to know if they want to join Gator is that it's very active. And Pace says it several times, but it's a really, like, I mean, it really is a full-time job. If you really want to make deals or connect with people, it's like a daily thing that you really have to focus on. Be on social media, be looking for things, but just connecting with people very regularly. Like that's how you're gonna find those deals.
Right.
Um,
Since you
but
mentioned it, sorry to
yeah,
cut you off.
no, go ahead.
Do you mind explaining what Alpha Gator and Alpha Funding is for those who don't know?
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. So the Alpha Gator is basically, we are able to white label um all the different products, such as DSCR loans, fix and flip loans, rental ones you can do, and then I think new construction's on there as
Questionable.
well.
Mhm,
Um, and so, if you're looking for that, then you can come to us and we can hook you up with, we'll have our own pretty much landing website that you can sign up right there. And the rates I hear are pretty good. I'm not sure. I haven't seen them yet, but I think they're very competitive.
mhm.
Um, and so that's what the Alpha Gator is.
Got it. Thank you. What are your goals in real estate or in life? You can take it however whichever way you'd like.
Yeah, for sure. So good question. So, um, with all of that, so let me back up a little bit. Um, so like I mentioned, so I have done deals. I've done wholesale deals. We've done like, I think I've done like 5 or 6 of them, wholesale deals, and I've done like 7 Gator deals. And I've made money in them. But just like I mentioned, it does take a lot of time, concentrated, intentional time that you need to put forth. And I think for me, um, it was very hard for me just because I'm like ADHD kind of thing, and so I would focus on this a little bit here and a little bit there, and it just wasn't working for me. And so anyway, so a couple of months ago, you know, my lovely wife, she helped me understand just the impact of just focusing on one thing, right? Um, and so what what I actually ended up going back to a W-2 job, and which I have right now, but it's like I can honestly say it's almost like the perfect job because um it's a construction, it's a general contractor that I work for. And I have lots of experience in construction accounting, and um but with this specific employer, like the it's awesome because they, all the advice and everything that I bring forth to the table, they're actually taking on, and they're like, wow, this is awesome, this is awesome. And and I've we've already helped them significantly in their processes and everything, with accounting wise. But what's cool about it is that I realized, kind of like what you said earlier, is you can't do stuff alone. It's hard to do things on your own, and be successful, like very successful at it. Well, together as a team with these guys, and they're all like, most of the guys are my age, which is actually, I think I'm older than most of them, which is surprising, but they're awesome. But um, I have opportunities to work with their money now in back into Gator, back into real estate, and actually be like that private money lender.
Mm-hmm.
And and that being a private money lender is probably one of the hardest things to find. A good one too, that's reliable and that can keep funding you. And so with the work that I've done to help them, now we have like this humongous line of credit that I just heard today that we actually just got approved, um,
That's
that I want to use now to help, like one of my bosses, he was funny because he was excited about getting a 4.5% return.
yeah.
I'm like, I can like triple that, like without really even trying in one deal, I can triple that, right? And so I'm kind of really excited to have this opportunity, with them, and to use their money to make more money. Another one of my big passions right now is actually business acquisitions.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I did the last like 2.5 years working. I actually worked for where I was a consultant for a private equity firm. And that was the whole purpose for me to do that job, was so that I could learn it, and I
Mm-hmm.
could see how the whole transaction works, how it works with people. It's just been a huge blessing, honestly, to find a company like that is just very open. And I haven't let them down yet. Does not to say I won't, but
Knock on
uh,
wood. Doesn't seem
yeah,
like you will.
yeah. So it's cool, and I'm really excited to keep working with them. But more importantly, like, it's just fun to be, to have the resources, that I would need, from a company like this. So
If anyone would like to contact you, where can they find you?
yeah, so I have my YouTube channel, which is just my first and last name, Helaman Madrigal. But Zane, I like yours, so I might do something like that now, where it's like Helaman Invests. It's just so easy. I love it.
Straightforward.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so Helaman Madrigal, both in Instagram and YouTube, same thing. You'll find me there. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Uh, if anyone would like to find him on Instagram, you said Instagram, right?
Yep.
Find him on Instagram, and we will be talking soon, hopefully doing deals together.
All right. We look forward to that.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Enjoyed it
All
very
right.
much.
Yeah. Thank you too, Zaina. Appreciate it.